Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Maxim. Today we will work on Piatti's exercises on different bowings. You can find those exercises on pages 26 and 27 in Piatti Cello method. We will play short two-line etude by Sebastian Lee many times, changing bowings, using bow strokes, legato, detache, staccato in different combinations. This is very challenging yet extremely interesting and useful thing to do, because you will learn a lot about coordination between left and right hand, about importance of good bow hold, raise position, and smooth changes from string to string. Let's break those 2 pages down to 10 exercises, each of them 2 lines long. So, with my brief comments for each exercise, I will be referring to lines 1 and 2 as exercise number 1, 3 and 4 as exercise number 2, and so on. We will work on each exercise in tempo quarter note 60. You might want to start slower, and then when you get more confidence, you can push to faster tempo. But again, every exercise I will play in tempo quarter note 60. First 2 lines, exercise number 1. We will be using the bow stroke detache, keeping the bow on the string, using approximately 1/4 of the bow per bow stroke, and making sure that wrist is in a good flexible position, and when you change strings, then you turn the bow according to the string you are playing on. The exercise number 2, 2 and then 4 notes per bow, legato. Make sure that you listen, that you pay attention how well you make string crossing. That is how well you connect the notes when you move from one string to another. That's quite tricky. You have to make sure that, again, your wrist is very flexible, and then slightly change the bow angle. When you play on the lower strings, that you have to aim the bow approximately to stay in between those 2 corners, and then gradually you move to upper strings, and then you have to reposition the bow so it's somewhere in between those 2 corners. So from C to G, to D, and then to A. I will use half of the bow when I use 2 notes per bow, and when I play 4 notes per bow, I will use the whole bow. The exercise number 3, legato, 8 notes per bow. It is quite challenging to play that many notes without changing the bow. We have to think about bow distribution. We have to make sure that you save enough bow when you play first few notes so you don't run out of the bow playing last few notes. It takes a lot of training, but just paying attention to that will help a lot. And you will notice, if last few notes of the bow sound good, that means that you did good job saving the bow. And you run out of the bow, well, do it again and think about saving the bow right away at the beginning of each bow stroke. The exercise number 4. The challenge here is that you'll have to change the bow off the beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That throws you off the balance a little bit, so you need to do this exercise to get used to this kind of bow change. And then you'll learn it, so it will become quite natural for you when you have to use it while playing your music. The exercise number 5, the last 2 lines of the first page. Here we will use combination of legato and staccato. When you play staccato, keep the bow on the string, just make sure that your right hand is very active, so we will have very clear beginning of each note. When we will use 4 notes per bow, then we will spend the whole bow for that. That means that some of staccato notes will be played at the tip of the bow, and then when you use another legato bow stroke, another 4 notes per bow, you will go back to the frog. When we'll use 2 notes per bow for legato, then you will stay mainly in the lower part of the bow. the exercise number 6, top 2 lines of the second page. Here we have 2 different bowing suggestions. So let's play it as if there are 2 exercises. So the first bowing suggestion, top, is to play 3 notes per bow followed by 1 short note. In order to do so, you'll have to make sure that you don't use too much of the bow when you play 3 notes legato. And then you have to come back to the starting point. That means you'll probably will need to lift the bow, because the speed of the bow for this one separate note will be very fast. And you have to lighten the contact between bow and string so it doesn't sound too loud. I'll show you how that works. Again, make sure that you pay attention, you don't use too much of the bow for 3 notes legato, and you use fast bow speed for one separate note, and you slightly lift the bow of the string when you play those separate notes. Now, exercise number 6, the second option. Here you have to use 6 notes per bow legato, followed by 2 separate notes, which we will play staccato. When you play 6 notes per bow, I suggest using the whole bow. So after the first long bow stroke, you will be at the tip of the bow, and then after you play another slur, 6 notes per bow, you will get back to the frog. The exercise number 7, here we will use the opposite bowings compared to exercise number 6, the top version. So here is 1 separate note followed by 3 notes legato. It's a bit easier to do so because that 1 separate note is usually happening at the beginning of the beat. So this note naturally will be louder, and usually that's exactly what we need to accomplish to show the beginning of the beat. Use the fast bow stroke for this separate note, approximately half of the bow, and of course you will have to use slower bow speed for 3 notes legato. The exercise number 8, the combination of 3 notes legato followed by 2 separate staccato notes and another 3 notes legato. We will use the whole bow for those 3 legato notes, and we will play with very active wrist those separate staccato notes. And those staccato notes will be happening at the tip of the bow. The exercise number 9, the dotted rhythm. This is very good exercise for your discipline. That means how well and consistent you can subdivide. To play it well, you have to subdivide to 16th notes. Pa 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 pa. Making sure that each dotted 8th note has exactly 3 16th notes. Also make sure that your left hand is as active as possible, so 16th notes will sound as clear as you can make them. The last exercise, number 10, the last 2 lines of the second page, the same rhythm, dotted 8th note and 16th note. Just we will use the separate bowings. I suggest to stay in the lower part of the bow, so bow stroke is very active, and we'll need to stop between dotted 8th note and 16th note. So technically it will sound as if you play 8th note, then 16th note rest, then 16th note. So now we tried so many different bowings playing the same melody. You'll see how much choice of bowing will change the character of the piece you'll be playing. Remember, very often as a performer, you have control over the bowing you choose. Just make sure that aligns with the character of the piece, and that might be a very effective tool in your performer's toolbox. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you soon.